Good evening. Welcome everybody to the third in our webinar series for the Ayurveda Biology program. We have with us today Dr. Anup Thakar, who is the director of ITRA Jamnagar. He joins two other illustrious speakers that we had before, Dr. Yogesh Shauche, who started the series off with his topic on gut microbiome, followed by Dr. Prasanna Kulkarni, who spoke to us about data science in Ayurveda. And today, it is with great delight that we welcome Dr. Thakkar to talk to us about who is an Ayurveda physician scientist. Dr. Thakkar is in a unique position to talk to us about this subject. He is the director of one of India's oldest research institutions, Center of Eminence in Ayurveda research, teaching, and education. Come, listen to us as we journey into how someone becomes a Ayurveda physician scientist.
uh, global global center for traditional medicine is also is coming to Jamnagar. Means it has came to Jamnagar already. ITRA already is a WHO collaborative center since long, only collaborative center of Ayurveda. So many research activities and many things are going on over here. Uh, one survey says, or we can say, the most of the publication in the Ayurveda, whatever publication are taking place in the Ayurveda, in the field of Ayurveda, almost 15% publication are from ITRA or earlier IPGTRA. So that huge contribution is from our institute. I would like to inform all of you who has joined today. And still we are looking forward for many updates. And now recently we have our laboratories has been accredited with NABL, and much more are coming up. And of course, when GCTM will start full-fledged, the ITRA will be the most beneficiary of those activities. With this background, uh, Dr. Mega has briefed me that what is expected from me today. So I would start from there only. I would like to ask you that is it okay to miss if I sometime because it is not your mother tongue, sometime you don't find good words in English to express yourself. So sometime English is okay. Oh, that's fine. So actually, since means long back in 1986, I joined BMS as a BMS graduate, and I did it from the Akhandanand College at Ahmedabad. And when I joined as a BMS, at that time, the scenario in the Ayurveda was totally different than the today's scenario. Many people were not having any confidence in the system, though it is for me it is a legacy because my father was also in Ayurveda, and so I was well aware, and I was knowing and having a faith. But when I started to learn the Ayurveda and to study the Ayurveda, in the very first year, everybody knows that Padarth Vigyan and Ayurveda Itihas and all those things comes, and then there were many questions were in my mind, that whether I have selected a proper uh, line, or I am in the right direction, or what. And then as studies further goes on, uh, many questions started to came in my mind, and then second year almost I lost the interest, you know, and I started to read many other things other than Ayurveda. But all of a sudden, when in third year I came, and then the subject Dravya Gun, where all the drugs comes, and again my interest came back, and then the clinics came, Rognidan came, and I went on the patient, and then after after that I never looked back, and then I decided at that time I'll pursue up to PhD. What will happen? Then I'll say something. So, but in the final year, when I I was exposed to Panchakarma, then the Shalya and all those subjects. Many questions were there in my mind. Even when we were reading Charak Samhita or Ashtanga Hriday, sometimes it would come in the mind of the students that whether somebody has written all these things, you know, sitting somewhere, and whatever came in their mind, and they have written just whatever they wanted to write. Is it so? And sometimes you feel it's like a story or some preaching or kind of thing. So, and when you ask to the teacher, most of the time in undergraduate in those days, nobody would have answer. They will say, no, it is written in the classics, it is written in the Charak Samhita, so you have to believe it. Now, as a science student, when you have pursued 10 plus 2 with science subject, science is what means what, how, where, when, all these questions, if you get the answer, then the thing is scientific. Otherwise it is not. Now with Ayurveda, in those days it was happening that when I apply this formula to all these things, now I won't get answering many things. Like I would explain in many lectures, I say is that for Vamana and Virachan, when I started to learn, usually what happens in the in the normal person, when somebody will have a vomiting or diarrhea, we will try to treat and to try to stop it. And the question in my mind was, here we are trying to induce it, and even in the normal person, why? What's the reason? They will say, no, with woman you have to remove the cuff, with Virachan you have to remove the pit. Fine. But Shodhan and Shaman and all those concepts also, when they teach, it seems logical, but you don't get any scientific background or any reason why we should do this thing. You won't get in those days. Then I pursued my MD, and in MD also same thing, but I was introduced to research methodology and started to work on the infertility, and myself witnessed many results. And in Panchakarma also I witnessed, there are many patients who are not getting treated by the modern system of medicine, and they are getting very good results with Panchakarma that I witnessed. So uh, again, the question started in my mind that there is something missing. People are not able to explain, but of course, there is a science that I started to believe during MD. But still, I was not getting the answer. When I asked the teacher, as field, the students who has joined from the field of the Ayurveda, they would know that if you will ask the repeatedly, then teacher will discourage you. He'll say, you read properly, or you come prepared with this and that, or you go through that, and but they won't give the answer, or answer will be so long that you will forget your original question. That scenario was there. And so uh, meanwhile, I joined PhD, and during PhD at IPGTNRA, then IPGTNRA, now ITRA, I got more exposure to the research. And when I joined as a faculty, then I was in the position of the teacher to teach the students in the MD. Now, uh, I have to satisfy their inquisitiveness or queries or whatever. And whatever experience I was having, I don't wanted to repeat that thing that students thinks about me, that sir is just taking us on a ride but not giving the answer. So if I don't know, I will say no, I don't. I also don't know about this. But if but most of the time, what I will do is I will read 4 6 hours before going to a lecture as a lecturer, and I will try to cover all the possible angles. What questions, probable question, can come in the mind of the scholar? All the answer I will try to get, and then I'll go to the class. But during those days also, I was not having all the answer. One thing, Google was not at that time, and internet was also not that fast. And computer was also not there. Means laptop was a very means it was a luxury on those days. Very few people were having a laptop, and desktop was also luxury. So it was not easy as it is today, that if you have some question and you will get the ready-made answer. No. So you have to read a lot, you have to go to library, and you have to go through many documents and all those things, and then you will get some answers. So I as a after 2 years, I started to get registered scholars for MD, thesis, and all those things. So I have to give the research problem. I have helped them to what topic they will select. And so I thought at that time, because I was in Panchakarma, I thought that whatever answer I was not getting as a student, I should work on it. How it is working? If woman, what can be the pharmacodynamics? And why only Madanpal should be given? Why in this dose only it should be given? Why in this form only it should be given? And enema is given in this position. Why? Suppose it is given in the left lateral, it has said, then why not in the right lateral? Or woman is should be done in the morning. Why we cannot do it noon? Somebody says that we want to do it in the evening. Okay, classic says that it should not be done in the evening, but then why? Because obviously, as a doctor, as a patient, even patient will also ask you, because in those days also patient you used to ask us that when you will say that you have to do snehapan, means you have to take the ghee, in the increasing pattern, and we will say that you have to take in the early in the morning and at empty stomach. So some patients will come, sir, I usually don't wake up before 9 or 10. That is my habit. I sleep say late night and then wake up at around 9. If is it okay if I take it around 9? Then okay. I would say him that no, you should not. But that question also came to my mind also, that he's right. I should be able to ask, means to solve his query, to satisfy his inquisitiveness, that why it should not be taken at the night, why it should be taken in early in the morning. And on the line of the science, I should be able to answer him. And by that time, I was sure with 2 3 things in the practice, that whatever is written there, whatever is described there, it is not that somebody sat under the tree and written all the things. That I realized by practicing, and when I started to teaching. That I was convinced by that time. And but I was thinking that something is missing, particularly links are missing. All we know is that original Charak Samhita was having a 1 lakh shloka, and all these things we hear about it. And so it was clear in those days. I think I was giving one example. about the Ayurveda to the student, that imagine that when the computer was invented, it was having a size of one big room, and it was doing very small calculations. And now you have a small mobile phone in your hand, which is far higher version of computer of those days. And you have all the computing, small computing on your mobile, in your hand, in your palm. Or even the palm tops are there, and which can do wonders. But if something happens and all the links are missing, and somebody has that palm top in his hand or her hand, he'll be surprised that how this can happen. It will be miraculous to him. And if he will tell about this laptop, who is not having any idea, he's blank about this, he will say, no, no, it cannot happen. It is not possible. So if you ask, this generation cannot understand, but in my childhood, if somebody would have asked that I can walk on the road and I can talk, I would have laughed at them. That is not possible. How it is possible? Because in those days, if you have to call somebody, then you have to book the trunk call, and the only landline was the reality. And mobile was nowhere, nobody thought of even, right? It was in the stories only. It was in the epics only that rishis were used to talk by Yoga Shakti and all those things. And likewise. So in Ayurveda also, it is like that. Actually, what I think is, in those days, to make medical science very easy and to reach up to last person of the society, and at the lowest cost, without help of the any laboratories, any instrumentation, or very long tedious training. If you want to prepare a physician who can diagnose without help of the laboratories, and who can treat the patient with whatever available around them, to make that simple, Ayurveda has been evolved slowly, gradually, time by time by time. But what happened, unfortunately, as time goes, the means many attacks has been done when intruders came to India, and you all know that history. And so links are missing, that how it was evolved. We all know that Shitavirya or Ushnavirya or Shunti is having a Ushna Guna, but it's Madhur Vipak. Now, how they were knowing that? Or any diet articles or herbs or drugs you take, Rasguna Vipak, they were known to that. How they were knowing? Now, there are many arguments that in the Turiya Avastha or in the meditation or in the trance state, they came to know and then describe. But okay, I don't know about it, so I cannot comment such on that. But what I believe is, it is possible that they have some authentic ways to identify it, and they describe it. And even suppose they came to know in Turiya Avastha or on trance only, then they will describe the properties of the drugs. But then they have described that where it should be used, in which disease condition, in what dose, in what dosha dominance it should be used. Everything they have clearly mentioned. Nowhere they have it should be, it might be, it could be, it can be, maybe. No. They have clearly written that this should be given in this condition, and it is like that. So when somebody can say with this confidence Only when they have witnessed and clinically they have proven, then only they can say. Now, issue is some problem is with the language, means the interpretation, because it is in Sanskrit, and as I told that links are missing. We are not able to interpret all the things as it should be interpreted. And when somebody is not there who has written that epic, or somebody authentic person is not there to tell about that what is this, then everybody has their opinion. And then many time I says to our students that many interpretation comes in the place. Somebody will comment on that this cha is written over here have this meaning. Charak has written this cha here, it has this meaning. Now, even Charak would know about that. He will be surprised that I didn't written the cha there to mean this. You know, those kind of interpretation are going on, and many things are going on. But what I believe is whatever is written there, if you read it simply and you simply whatever you understand and you try to amplify it, you will easily understand it, and it is all scientific. And after my this vast experience, what I have learned is, another myth goes with Ayurveda, that you need to learn in between the lines. And if somebody will explain you the samhitas in proper way, then only you will understand the samhitas. No, I do not agree with that. I'm sorry. Because what I believe is, of course, when I was 30, I was at the age of the 30, my understanding of Charak Samhita was different. When I was 45, my understanding of Charak Samhita was different. And at the age of the 55, my understanding of Charak Samhita is different. Why? Because my horizon has been expanded, and whatever the frame of references I have, with those frame of references, when I try to interpret, definitely I would understand those things in a better way and better perception after that long experience. I give a simple example for that you remember that in your childhood, if you have watched some movie, and after 20 years, means at the age of 15 or 16 you have watched some movie, and at the age of 30 if you will watch same movie, you will get surprised that at that time I was not able to understand this. Now it's clear to me why this scene was there. So that happens where as you grows, and your experience grows and your interpretation gets changes. But whatever is written there, it is open for all, and it is not like that I only can understand Charak and you cannot. Fine. For everything in the life, your understanding about the things will keep on changing. And uh, at the age of the 60, I would say about something to a 20 years guy, he will listen to me. And if he's a staunch follower to me, maybe blindly he may follow, but by heart he won't accept that, because uh, there will be question in his mind, that because his understanding, his experience is not up to that level, so it won't be acceptable to him. So that doesn't mean that he cannot interpret the charak, or he is not eligible to read the charak, or he is not eligible to understand any classics. If he will or she will try to understand, definitely the classics will reveal many things. You read first time, second time, third time, fourth time, all the time you will have a different interpretation. It's so vast. And as a whole, medical science is so vast that your life is not enough for anybody. So that is there. So all lifetime you are a student. But one thing I am sure, that everything is scientific. And so I started, suppose, first work I started in the Panchakarma, that woman. as I told, that there was a big question in my mind that why we should do woman, and why in the morning and all those things. And we try to, interpret that what is cough. So to interpret the cough, of course, there some people try to interpret as a histamine, and but we also uh, interpret with the some polysaccharides, and how to measure it, and hexosamine, and many things we tried with the help of the pharmacologist and all those things. But then lately I realized that uh, whatever science today is available, and whatever the instruments we have available, I'm not going to able to interpret what exactly cough is, because cough represents a very big, strata, means many things comes under cough. And if we will, I will try to pinpoint it or to interpret that if this has come out, then means that means cough has come out. No, that I realize. But during the those studies, I found many things. Like at that time I measured the pH and all these things. I'm sorry. My when all this vision was get widened, up to PhD, okay, I was like any other scholars with little bit more inquisitiveness. But in when I joined as a faculty, first time I got the chance. As I joined, I got the chance to join the program run by ICMR, and it was the first batch when I joined. It was in KEM Mumbai, Dr. KEM Hospital Mumbai, organized by the Pharmacology Department of KEM Hospital Mumbai, and Dr. Shaharanidhi Dahnukar was the organizer of that program. Dr. Thatte and Dr. Renuka and many others were working as a student or AP at that time in the pharmacology department. And we were the first batch. I think Dr. Supriya Balarao was also with me in that batch. And for 12 days or 15 days, extensive training in the research. It was a mixed group. The pharmacologists were there, modern doctors were there, and some Ayurvedic doctors were there. And if some of the Ayurveda scholars may or know it, Dr. Rishikesh Damle, who is owning Atrimed, he was also my batchmate in that training. And during those days, I got insight, and that helped me a lot in my journey or in my travel in the field of the research in Ayurveda. And I strongly started to believe that it is scientific, but we need to explore it. And what can be the ways and how we should think about the problems. That sight I got from that training. And so I must appreciate this Ayurveda biology program, because some of the scholars I know who has pursued this program, that really gives this insight. And as a subject, as a science, Ayurveda need lot many peoples of this kind of acumen, who knows about Ayurveda also, who knows about the research also, and who are updated with the latest research technologies and methods and all those things. Then only we can prove about the Ayurvedic science to the world, because I believe that it's a really beautiful science. But we onus is on us that we come with some strong, evidences which can show them that this is the beautiful science and it can do wonders. And of course, I believe that there is many activities are going on, and many people claims high in many fields, which is not true. Even Ayurveda does not say. In those fields also, this claims high or tall claims means very tall claims are there. That is harming a lot. But of course, in every time period, those kind of people are there and they will be there. But who are serious, who knows it is a really good science, they should come forward and they should work hard to bring this science scientifically in front of the society to get benefited from it. I would again come to the point of woman, that during woman I found that the cortisol level, of course, when we are inducing the vomiting, that will induce inflammation in the stomach, and we are removing the mucus membrane, what we call it, cough has come out. So there will be inflammation and there will be a rush of the blood towards that area, and all that mechanism I understood. And then I noticed that cortisol level always goes high when you do woman. And if 8 Vegas are there, means more the Vega, more the cortisol level goes high. Now, I tried to correlate the things where the woman is indicated. Asthma, all the kushta, means all the skin disorders, or even in the anemia, they have said that Tikshna woman, Pandu, Tikshna woman should be there. Now, Tikshna woman means, as I told, the optimum, right? Optimum means maximum release of the cortisol in the blood. For asthma, what is the line of the treatment? If you consider modern science, steroids. For skin, what they are giving? Steroids. And with woman, you will get the same effect. Means if you do proper woman to person of the psoriasis, within a week, there will be a great relief. Or asthma, there will be a great relief. So that was the first clue. I am not sure it's a stress hormone, but I am not sure whether that theory is working or not. But those kind of clues we have to take, because it is possible that natural form of the steroid which body is producing, it might have a different effect on your body. We don't know what synthetic steroid has an impact on your body. Natural steroid might have a different impact. Maybe today's science is not able to understand all those things, not able to interpret all those things. And now, with gut microbiome theory, many things are clear. You all know that it changes the microbiota, and you all know that for most of the function of your body, beginning from the digestion and all the functions, mostly they are governed by the microbiota. And if you change them in the positive way, you can change the scenario. I have done some work on Basti with the help of the IGIB. And with Basti, even we found that some genes were upregulated, some genes were downregulated in the patient of the hemiplegia. And with Virachan also, same effect was there. So Virachan and Basti have an impact at the genetic level also. And that's why they have told that every 6 months you should undergo the Shodhan for longevity. And so it was scientific. Maybe, it may be arresting some negative changes which are taking place in the body due to our lifestyle or stress or improper diet or whatever. The Shodhan might be correcting those things. You know about epigenetics. Maybe the Panchakarma is making some epigenetic changes, means some positive genes maybe get activated and some negative genes may be muted, whatever. It requires a lot of study. And this kind of things are there. Now, uh, till date, we are not able to explain that what is Shitavirya, what is Ushnavirya. Even modern science, if you will tell them that this is hot, they'll say, what is hot? Means you will feeling hot? No, we are not feeling hot by taking that all time, but it is having impact, hot impact on your body. It's Ushnavirya. It will increase your pith and all those things. But till date, science has not developed up to that level that it can explain. When you try to do the pharmacokinetic studies or dynamics of all these drugs, up to certain level means this get absorbed at that and this level, and this is the uh, how it goes out, and what is the half life, and everything you can with one marker you can judge. But if you take ashwagandha, it has more than 40 active ingredients. How you will judge that together how it is working? But then even we right now we are trying to find out the pharmacokinetic and dynamic, understand the pharmacokinetic and dynamics of ashwagandha and guruchi with the Pune University. That project is going on. But we need to understand at least one or two things, and we need to develop mechanism so we can explain the beauty of our science to the world. What is happening? The every year or two, some Nobel will be declared, and then we find that this has been described in Ayurveda. And this principle was there in Ayurveda, then we will start to say that no, it is already there in Ayurveda. But we are not able to prove it. We are not taking the lead and going for the research in that direction. Otherwise, India would have got many Nobels by this time in the medicine. So it is the need of hour that scholars of Ayurveda and scholar of basic science comes together, and we explore what is there in Ayurveda, and how it can be, you know, we start with something which is well proven, or we can see very clear clinical pictures or clinical effects, or some dincharya, rutucharya, which are having a clear impact on our body, and we can explain. At least we, if we able to prove how it is happening to the body, then that automatically it will attract the attention of the other scientific world towards this science, and then things will start to move. So that is the need of our, we need to do this thing, and I'm sure that this Ayurveda biology will help a lot in that direction. And we need to do that thing, teaching and research. We, as a teaching institute, of course, we are Institute of Teaching and Research in Ayurveda. So many of our scholars and faculties are involved in the research. Um, it goes hands in hand, but I also feel that in the field of Ayurveda, uh, there is a big need of dedicated researchers, who dedicate their life only behind the research in Ayurveda at the big level. I think that will change the scenario. And again, another example I used to give is, uh, to measure, if you cook the rice, how you judge that all the rice are cooked. You want to check all grains. You will take one or two grains and you will press it, and if it gets pressed, that you believe that all the rice are cooked. So if we prove at least 5, 10 things in big way in Ayurveda, rest of the things will move automatically. That's what I believe, because centuries are less to prove whatever is written in Ayurveda. If we try to prove everything, it is not required also. But of course, uh, there is a need to crush the ice and to break the ice, and we all together put some efforts and brings the beauty of Ayurveda in front of the world. I think I had speaked a lot, and basically I am a teacher, so hours together I can speak, and this isn't a subject of my interest, so I can go on. But I also believe that anything is told beyond 45 minutes, it goes beyond what whatever it is. So with this, I conclude my talk, and I'm thankful to Dr. Medha and all other organizers for giving me this opportunity to share my views and idea with all learned students. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm going to stop the recording so that people can ask questions and not feel